What's going on, YouTube family? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky, and today we're going to be talking about an extremely hot topic. Why are car dealers so dumb? Now, I was going to make a completely different video for this week's video, but so much dumb stuff has happened over the last several days, I had to make a video of it. And something extremely stupid happened today, which I was like, you know what, this is going to be the topic of the day. So I'm getting this video out a little bit late, but trust me, you're going to want to watch this the whole way through. Now, normally I don't pick on car dealers. I try to stand up for not only the consumer side, but also dealers, because consumers need to see from both angles. But what I'm currently seeing in the used car market and the new car market is absolutely ridiculous. Now, some of these stories I'm going to tell you about some of the things that I've seen going on with the dealership, what I'm currently dealing with, and some of the issues that are going to be happening here very shortly are going to absolutely blow your mind. So make sure you stay tuned. Now, before I do, if you can do me a huge favor and gently squeeze the like button for the YouTube algorithm, it also find more amazing people like yourselves and enjoy automotive content. Also, if you enjoy the content and you love everything about this, please subscribe. It means definitely a lot. I truly appreciate it. And also follow us on Instagram at Lucky Lopez. And let's get into the video. So you may be asking yourself, hey Lucky, why are dealers so stupid? I thought they were very intelligent. They got hundreds of cars on their lot, $1 million flooring lines. They must be intelligent human beings. Now, there are a few dealers that are very intelligent and that think outside the box and actually use their brain. But I'd say about 80% of them are dumb as a box of rocks. First, you have to get your mindset right. So what I tell everybody, if you want to be a used car dealer, drink 2 bottles of tequila. After you're done, spin around 100 times, down a bottle of bleach, spin around another 100 times, and then slap yourself, and finally you're on the level of mentally thinking like a used car dealer. Now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to talk about our first issue, which is arbitration. Now, arbitration is something that helps dealers when they buy cars at the auction. Even dealers have some protection. And I'm going to tell you why people are taking advantage of this and how stupid they are. Now, I actually buy and sell hundreds of cars at the auction. That's what I do. I wholesale. So just recently, I got notified that I had 27 arbitrations to my name. Now, before I get into that, I want to show you something. When I sell a car at the auction, I run it through. So let's say this G-Wagon right here, I'm selling this one. It's going to be green light, which means it's guaranteed. It's got 60,000 miles, clean title. So if, let's say I run it through the auction and a dealer buys it, and he runs a Carfax and says, oh, the miles are wrong, oh, it has a rebuilt title, or oh, the motor's bad. When it's green light, dealers have 2 options. They can say, hey, it's going to cost me $2,000 to fix the motor. Give me the $2,000. I'll keep the car. Everybody's happy. Or they say, I don't want the car. And then the dealer the wholesaler has to buy it back from that dealer, which is also fine. That's why it's green light. There's some sort of guarantees. But what I want to focus on is red light and yellow light. And this is what drives me nuts. And this is how it shows how stupid dealers are. Now, red light is 100% as is. So if the car rolls through, and this happens a lot, they'll look at the one side of the car and be like, wow, this car's beautiful. It looks great. I'm going to bid on it. So they just start bidding on it. But they don't take the time to walk around the other side. And they see this side's completely smashed in. Now, the reason why I'm using this analogy is because I've seen this actually happen multiple times. Dealers, if you have any stories, please put in the comment section below. They will verify that there's some dealers that are so stupid. They just see the car, they see the low price, and they just start bidding because they get too excited. They don't take the time to look on the other side. Also, when it comes to yellow light means I'm announcing something. So I can be like, hey, this G-Wagon, it's got a clean title, the miles are good, but it's yellow, it's caution because the transmission is slipping. So it rolls through the auction. Most of these dealers are so stupid, they don't take the time to look up and see what type of warnings there are. They just look at the car like zombies. They take their little phones, they scan the barcode. Oh, MMR says $35,000. I'll bid $35,000, and that's it. They don't look at the car, they don't walk through it, they don't look up. It's the dumbest thing. And if you think I'm joking, once again, dealers, chime in the comment section below. They look like mindless zombies just running around with their phone, scanning every car and just walking like this. They don't ever look up. So the reason why I had so many of these quote-unquote arbitrations is because people can't read. So if I sold a car and said, hey man, the transmission is slipping, it's as is. And they're like, oh, I don't want the car because it has a slipping transmission. It's like, yeah, it was in the notes, it was in the notifications. Oh, I didn't see it. It's not my fault. It's not the auction's fault. It's your fault as the buyer. And on top of that, some of these guys, 1 or 2, I don't really mind. But the 20 of the 27 arbitrations came from one local dealer. And make a long story short, this guy just wanted to get out of these cars because he can't sell anything. He has no banks. He's in a really crappy location. And he figured that if he would arbitrate these cars that somehow we would buy them back from the auction and everything would be fine. But he bought most of them as red light and the rest were yellow, and whatever issues he was saying was covered under the caution. Now, this is something that dealers need to look out. You need to take the time, look at your inventory, and see what you have. But the sad thing is when I reached out to the dealer and told him, hey, I noticed that you have zero online presence. You're not in any automotive sites at all. Let me help you. I'll tell you what to do and how to do it. And he's like, I know who you are. I watch your YouTube channel. He's like, you should do the right thing and buy these cars back off me. I'm like, well, you should do the right thing and actually market your business, because how are you going to sell cars when you have nobody that can find you? It's the dumbest thing I ever heard. When I asked him what he did, he said, oh, I put them every now and then on Craigslist, which is absolutely just dumb. So anyways, try to help this guy, but he doesn't want to listen. Hopefully you're watching this. Get off your ass, advertise these cars, do as much marketing as you can. To have cheap, affordable cash cars that are running and driving are a big thing. They're going to be in high demand, especially now because banks are just not financing. Now, the second thing that burned my ass this week is wholesalers. Now, during the pandemic, all these dealers and wholesalers showed up overpaying for everything. I was losing customers left and right. Now, I had this one local bank / credit union that did a lot of special funding for like teachers, casino workers here in Vegas. And so I got a lot of business from them, not only from selling cars, but selling or buying their repos. And during the pandemic, these two wholesalers decided to show up, and whatever I would bid, they would bid 30, 40% more. So if I wanted to bid $10,000 on this car, they would look at it and say, I'll bid 14. Now they would ask me, well, why are these guys paying this much more? I'm like, well, I'm paying, let's say 10 grand because wholesale is 11.5. I'm going to spend about $500 fixing it, and I'm going to wholesale it and make $1,000. So I honestly told them what I'm going to do. These guys were paying damn near retail because they wanted to get all these cars. They wanted to show off or, just show their buying power. And a lot of my clients left because they wanted to chase the bigger money, which I can't blame them, but I told them the same thing. You'll be back. When these guys run out of money, you'll be back. And guess what happened last week? I got 2 phone calls, one from the bank president and one from their collections agency that was going after these dealers because one of the dealers just took off with the car, wrote him a check. The guy's trying to run it at the auction. It won't sell. So now the check bounced. He was basically running at the car at the auction, floating the money from this to hopefully cash in the check. And it didn't work out. He can't sell it. So they're trying to get that car back from the dealer. They're trying to get me to give him a bid so I can bail him out. And when they showed me how much the guy offered for it, I'm like, it's almost retail. He's never going to wholesale it for that price. He's an idiot. And so during this time, it bred a lot of people that were so stupid and overbidding cars. They just kept thinking the book goes up, just like crypto. Everybody's a genius until the market falls out. Now everybody's losing their ass and they're making fun of all these crypto gurus. Same thing with dealers and wholesalers. And the other gentleman, I think he got 6, 7 cars, wrote checks for him, and he can't pay for any of them. And now the guy's not returning their calls. So they want me to help go find this dealer, work some sort of a deal out, and get the cars back. And I kind of laughed. I was like, well, I'll buy him, but I'm not going to pay what he's paying for him. I'm going to pay wholesale. And so I basically shot him my numbers. I'm like, you want my numbers? Here they are. If you want to give it to me, I'll go buy the cars. If not, have fun chasing these dealers that were so-called paying you more money and a better thing. Now, this particular bank I've been buying from for about 4.5 to 5 years. So after a 5-year relationship, I got dumped for some guys that came in for about 1.5 years, overpaying for everything, and now they're pretty much regretting it. So that's the second thing that kind of burned my ass on why dealers are so stupid. Now, the third reason why I believe dealers are absolutely boneheads is because they're overbidding like crazy. Now, I saw people doing stupid stuff during the pandemic, paying $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 over MMR, and they were all justifying it because the banks were giving them money. Now, I sold my car a few months ago, and I've been looking for a car for myself for quite some time, looking at dealerships, looking at auctions, private parties, and every time I go to the auction, I want to buy, let's say, I was looking at a Rolls-Royce Wraith, and I found one there, and I'm like, okay, I see 10 of them here in our area that are selling for $200K. So this car is probably going to go for $180 at the auction. I'll save a few $1,000. Everything will be good. Wrong. These guys paid $200K at auction for the exact same cars that local dealers are retailing for $200,000. Where's the sense in this? I have no freaking idea. So when I asked the one gentleman, I'm like, hey, I don't know you, but I wanted to ask you why you paid $200,000 for this car. And he's like, oh, because I'm going to sell it for $250. Look at the book. I'm like, okay, that's great. I go, but did you look at the market report? He's like, I don't have time for that. I don't waste my time. I only go off the book because I know I could sell it for the book. I'm like, okay, market report tells you what's in your area and what's for sale. So if there's 5 other cars, rare cars that are $200,000, what makes you think you're going to sell the exact same car with even more miles than these guys for $250,000? And so I showed him my app on my phone and I was going through and showing him the cars. And his face, I swear to God, I wish I could take a picture of it. It was absolutely hilarious. He looked at me. No, this salvage, there must be salvage titles or dirty Carfaxes. I'm like, no, I'm currently in the market for a Wraith. I wanted to buy this one. You overbid. I stopped at 180. You just kept going. I just wanted to know why. And so, make a long story short, that was just one of the scenarios. I looked at another R8. I found another car that was pretty cool, a Huracan, which I won't even get into that one. That guy was literally smoking crack. He paid almost $265 for a 2020 Huracan with, I think, 31 or 21,000 miles, which is beyond me. But anyways, this is some of the stupid stuff that dealers are doing. Now, you may be asking yourself, Lucky, why are dealers doing something that dumb? It's the stupid flooring lines. They gave these guys these massive lines of credit, and they basically put these cars on there, and they just float the payments. Well, I'll pay it off. I'll pay it. I'll just want to drive the car. Because I figured most of the exotic cars that I've been trying to bid on that are going way over book, I figured it's because somebody wanted to buy them, drive them, and then just do whatever. But when I see people maxing out their flooring lines, I'm not trying to be a jerk and say, hey, you shouldn't do that. But I'm kind of worried because this is your business. If you're doing something this stupid on a high-end car, what are you doing on cars that are $5,000, $10,000? You'd be overpaying $1,000 to $3,000 on those cars, which is worse because you're just burying yourself in cars you can't liquidate because you're overbooking all of these things. But every time I try to be a nice guy and share some information or lend a helping hand, they want to slap your hand. They want to talk shit. And so that's why today I wanted to go out and bash some of these dealers and let them know that they're absolutely stupid for overbidding on cars. I know you guys watch my channel, so please listen. Just don't overbid. Don't get yourself into financial debt just to show off to a bunch of other asshole dealers that don't even like you. So this is the final reason why dealerships are stupid. Now, I'm working with this bank out of California. Great bank. I've been dealing with them for over 10 years, buying and selling a lot of their cars. They buy a lot of my loans. I buy a lot of their repos. It's a great relationship. Well, currently they started to expand their market because of the pandemic. They wanted to go after they all wanted to chase that same stimulus money. Unfortunately, they got sucked up into it. As dealers were selling cars, they kept asking this bank, hey, I bought this car for 20 grand. And the bank will come back and say, well, hey, the book on this car is 15,000. And you paid 20 grand? Oh, well, we'll give you an extra 5,000 so you can get your 20. And the dealer's like, no, I need to get 25,000 because I need to make $5,000 on this car. So this particular bank said, okay, I'll go ahead and do this and I'll start overpaying. And so they started overpaying on a bunch of cars and started adding more dealers to their bank. And all of a sudden now they're known as the bank that's overpaying for some of the cars that you were overpaying for at the auction. So everybody jumped onto this bank, started selling cars, doing deals. Well, now that the economy is tanking, car values are going down, demand is going down, they're starting to pull the purse strings and slow down financing. Well, guess what happens? All these dealers that are selling these cars that are way overpriced can't pay off their flooring lines. So what's happening now is every time the bank sells a car and finances them, the dealer gets the money, customer gets the car, but the bank is waiting on the title. Now the dealer, once they get the money, they're supposed to pay their flooring line, give them the title, and give that to the bank. Well, what's happening right now is they've had so many dealers burn them for titles in Nevada and California that they're deciding to cut off the state of Nevada, and they don't want to do any more funding or buying or even letting me purchase their repos because they are so sick of the state of Nevada. They don't want to deal with anybody. So now, just because these other dealers burn this bank, I can no longer buy repos from this particular bank, which is really a shame. Like I said, they're a good group of people, and unfortunately, they're going to have more repos coming here very shortly with all this stuff, but they don't want to deal with anything in Nevada because there were so many people that were taking the money and not paying the flooring lines and not giving the banks their titles and just holding on to it. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, Lucky, that must be illegal, right? They can sue them. They can take them to court. Nope. Absolutely nothing you can do. The dealership gets the money. The bank will have to call the flooring company. The flooring company will cry and bitch and ask them to give some money, but eventually they'll have to give the title to the bank or to the consumer because that's just the way it goes. And now the flooring lines will get in trouble. So first, the banks right now are taking a brunt of a lot of people burning them, but pretty soon, that's why I keep going back to flooring lines. These lines of credit, these flooring lines are going to be going after these dealers because every week I hear more and more stories of this stuff happening. And if dealers keep burning these flooring lines thinking it's no big deal, what these dealers don't understand is they're not only screwing up the market for themselves, they're screwing up the market for other dealers. So every time they burn somebody and a dealership rips the money out of the flooring company's hands and screws banks, it hurts the dealer next to them because now they're going to have to jump through even more hoops, prove even more liquidity, and it just gets harder and harder to get to. Now, something I think they need to do, I think they should do not only a background check, which they do on most states, but also a financial background because most of these people don't have a clue and they don't have the capital to run a real dealership. And this is where a lot of the problems lie. I know a few states require you to have $200,000-$300,000 in the bank. If they did that in Nevada, I'd say about 99% of the dealers would be out of business because they don't have two nickels to rub together. But this is something that shows how easy it is to get in the car business. And the sad thing is you could burn all these people, run off with hundreds of thousands of dollars, and there's no recourse. You get KO'd, which means you can no longer run a dealership in that state, and people just go to a different state and do the exact same thing. So there's no long-term ramifications when it comes to this. And this is one of the things that really bugs me about our business because it brings all the shady assholes in here. All the people that just want to screw people, that want to just make a quick buck and screw everybody else, and they're crushing our system. Where everything else, like if you're doing good business and I'm doing good business, I have a good plumbing company, you have a good plumbing company, and banks are paying us and they're fighting for our business, it's a beautiful thing. But dealers are always trying to undercut each other, cut each other's throat, and screw each other and then screw the bank. It's just a vicious cycle of bullshit. And this is why, like I said, I love selling cars. I love the car business, but I absolutely hate 90% of the dealers out there because all they want to do is, I hate to say it, just fuck each other, fuck people, and take everybody's money and tell everyone to fuck off. And it's getting really, really bad. And it's going to get worse as less and less money hits the market, which is happening now because we're getting into a recession, or we've been in a damn recession. It's getting worse. So anyways, don't mean to vent. This is just the truth. This is what's currently going on in my market. But I'll tell you what, I love to hear what's going on in your market. Dealers, if you agree with me, please put in the comment section below. Regular people, I'd love to hear stories. If a dealer's burned you for a title, anything else, please let me know. And once again, follow us on Instagram @Lucky Lopez, and we'll see you next video.